I began driving towards the Airbnb destination about an hour or two after check-in, just so I could prep before the guests arrived. As I got closer to the destination, I remember seeing a decent-sized house that looked a tad run down. It didn't look like there were any other houses around, just a lot of tall trees and a scent of pine cones in the air. I figured it would add to the spooky ambiance considering this was Halloween. As I got inside, I immediately started setting up for the party while having a few glasses of alcohol on the side. A couple hours later, the sun was finally beginning to set, which meant that the guests were on their way to the party. I figured I'd dress as Georgie from the movie It, as my name was George, so pun intended. I texted and called my friend Dave, but unfortunately didn't get a response. Begins to
Bitch. All other weapons are restricted. Government officials.
What the hell is going on? I turned the TV off and immediately hear Candy here to their drink, while holding machetes. At first glance, I thought it was the guests from the party. Lights or while yelling. Rooms. I then plowed through the hallway in my direction. I heard nothing but the sound of my heart throbbing vigorously on my shoulder with someone saying, "Hi, Georgie." Ah! How the hell did you get in here? You want a balloon, Georgie? What? Here, take it. No! That's when the clown's mouth abnormally opens wide and begins to swallow my entire head. I felt like my life was slowly diminishing. Through my drunken haze, I dug the kitchen blade into the stomach of the clown despite not being able to see a thing. I could feel the mouth that was supposedly swallowing my head was none other than a brown pig. I was out trick-or-treating with two of my close friends. For disclaimer purposes, I'll be using pseudonyms, as I like to keep the identity of everyone involved in the story anonymous. That being said, I'll go by the alias Mike. My friends will go by Tom and Jerry, respectively. We were all dressed as characters from our favorite childhood cartoons. I was dressed as Naruto, as that was my favorite anime. Tom was dressed as Goku from Dragon Ball Z. Jerry was dressed as Spider-Man, as he was a hardcore fan of the Tobey Maguire series that aired in the early 2000s. I remember us trick-or-treating for about a solid hour or two around the neighborhood. I could feel my legs get sore from all the relentless walking and strain from carrying my heavy sack of candy. My bag was starting to get full to the brim. My friends' bags were just as full, as they began gaming consoles made out of women's leggings. At least you don't have to wear this stupid wig on your head. Stop being such wimps. This day only comes once a year. Let's get this over saying, they're a really big kid or buses. Then we can I lost my friends and don't have my cell phone on me. I personally didn't want this guy tagging along as the guy's request. We then minutes of actually finished trick-or-treating and street to him as mind if I walk home with you? Count me in, dude. Get us home. Call it a patty. Walk like we'll be alright. Living there in just a minute, boys. As we begin, uncomfortable sitting up.
Naruto, this is your last warning that do it, weeb! Dude, please, just let us go! Pick up the shovel and start digging, Naruto! This is your last warning that I'm killing you both!
That's when me and Tom, unfortunately, Tom dug a hole, forcibly grabs both the shovels dug out. I began to feel my— Please! Please, let us go! An piece of dirt and dead bugs going inside my mouth. With able to run away. Watching me with a gaunt emotionally bury him. My friend Tom that behind our foot. But at the same a date that I'm now on the outside. But don't project the scar or it's bad one. I knew the preview that hooking up with one would gotten into sunrise when sees up how me close top me through my more being laid down to the porch. Politically correct term, they were conjoined twins. The girl on the right then introduced herself saying,
I'm Tina, also known as the hotter twin, and here is my uglier half, Lena.
Speak for yourself. Anyway, I'm Lena. You must be Jeff, right?
Yeah.
Come inside so we can get this party started.
I honestly contemplated on booking it, as it was clear as day that I'd been catfished, but I decided to take the high road and continue. Kept the place where at leaving the since filled the I held the steak with a fork in place while Lena began slicing it into bite-sized pieces. Thing to girls, please stop fighting.
Leslie likes me.
The tension room suddenly became. What are you talking about? Can you please put the knife and fork down? As I looked into their eyes, I could see them both. Problem! Get the
Why did you do that?
blood. As Lena.
Forget it. Ed, anonymous Lawrence, had rented a winter cottage in the countryside for the holiday weekend. They wanted to get away from the noise of the city and retreat to the old-fashioned ways of living. Furnaces and firewood, no connection to the outside world and all that. Preparing dinner in the cottage, my brother and I were out playing in the snow, building forts and staging great battles with snowballs. Then, to our surprise, another kid around our age appeared from within the trees, and we stopped with snowballs from our don't worry, inside the cottage. The next morning was crisper stuck in same in the fort. Or are you gonna come join? Fine, man. That jerk was snows. While my brothers, they were yellow. He nailed both of us in the face with yellow snow before we could react. Piss balls! Get got, chumps! I started to cry, but my brother top at him and laying it back to the brother was unfazed. He continued to beat that poor kid into a bloody pulp. Eventually, I look at the situation, or, well, the rest of that, anything about what happened. Just a load of flimsy excuses. We didn't need much, worry about anything. Buried in the western
friends with this guy who worked at K Strip Mall. I was to buy some chicken. However, I never approached the register. Evening. Could have been the man at that. It was a small rectangular thing. Out of curiosity in the batter, but when I turned it over, the name printed on it was
Jake!
The whole time I'd been waiting on him, he was wafting into my nose, getting ground between my teeth, and sliding to Jake.
As I found
aiming at
I had to take my glasses off for that one, bro.
Tell me.
Oh, here we go.
Who's the target?
fields and farmland within the horizon, that was lingering over on this one particular night. I was heading home from a long shift of driving a bunch of drunk college students around the city, considering it was the weekend. The time was around 2 or 3 in the morning when I was driving through the back ends of the round bumper just to see what lifelessly on the dirt road. It was almost as if the sudden impact from my car had completely obliterated the deer's physical frame into a bloody matter of guts and while I did jail, come on and held when the paranoia if my car, how the hell could it be blood residue, so I could hooking up my parents down under the rug as I route and not the dark back roads when heading home. I couldn't run the risk of hitting another deer, as the guilt from the first deer still tears me to shreds internally. I remember this one night, I worked the usual graveyard hours when I picked up this one girl near a busy location in the city. She surprisingly lived in the direction of where I resided, so I figured dropping her off
He's there, he's everywhere. Who you gonna call? Psychic friend, Fred Bear. you gonna call? Psychic friend Fred Bear.